Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, everybody. Around this time of year, I like to look back at my past year, review my goals, and set up my New Year's resolution. So I thought we could do this together if you want to follow along. If you have set up goals from last year, I always like to review my previous goals and separate them into what I've done and what I haven't done. And I have this kind of rule of setting under 10 goals each year, and to me, not doing 2 of my goals is relatively normal. Like I'm not gonna blame myself if I don't achieve all of them. That's fine. And then I do a small review of how I've exactly done it, and for the ones that I haven't done, I just added some notes to say that this was too vague, I need to be more specific this year, and for this one I really didn't focus on it enough, so that's fine, I focused on other things. If you haven't set up goals from last year, or if you want to be super extra like myself, I like to also do a section on the yearly gratitudes and go through each month. I do like a monthly gratitude. I try to write down every month in my previous journal just some things that I'm proud of each month and what makes this year great, but I am not actually going to share all of them. That's okay, just because some of them are quite personal. But I'll show you the first page just to have a good introduction into the new diary, and that just helps me when I feel a bit down to look back and see that I've already achieved enough and I don't need to be sad about how next year is gonna go when I'm going to have some hiccups. And I would do the next February, March, and so on and so forth. But you can take 5 minutes, 10 minutes now, put me on pause, think about your last year's goals, where you are with them. What do you feel you've achieved? What do you feel you've not done? Maybe you have some goals that are kind of in the middle. You're not sure if it's in between or not. So like I have my apply for citizenship. My goal was to get citizenship, but I realized the application takes quite a long time and getting an answer takes quite a long time. So I take it as I've done it, but I have no answer yet, which is not really something that I'm responsible for. So I decided to take it as done. But you can be as flexible or as strict as you want to be, I guess. And now on to an optional section before you set up a New Year's resolution, because some of us have quite clear goals and we know what we want to get done and that's it. But I assume if you are here and you clicked on this video, maybe you do want to have a little bit of a self-reflection and think about what is most important to you. So I did leave a few pages to put some questions into thinking about what are our biggest priorities in life. So some questions that I, full disclosure, took from other diaries and other places on the internet. You can take 10-15 minutes, however much you need, to think about the following questions and reflect on what are your biggest priorities in life, and maybe that will guide the goals for this year. So the questions are: what brings me joy and good feelings in life? What am I most passionate about? What would I do if money wasn't an issue? What is the most important thing in my life? What are my personal core values? What do I want to give back to the world? How do I want to be remembered when I'm gone? What does a successful life look like for me? What does a perfect day look like for me? And these are all just journaling diary prompts or things I like to annoy my friends by asking every so often, because I think it's quite interesting to find out what people would say to this. And now going into the actual goal setting, I'm covering this up because I want you to treat this as 2 different exercises. So the first exercise is just take a page and write down all of your dreams, anything you want. This is just a brain dump, brainstorm page to add anything. It can be as meaningful or as meaningless as you want. I kind of wanted to go for like a 50, 100 list, but to be honest, I felt like when I went past 25, they were starting to ding down, so I was starting to think about small stuff. But feel free to write as many as you can think of, or start with the top priorities you think you already know about and then narrow it down and put as many things as it comes to mind in this brain dump page. And finally, onto the 2022 1-year goals list. I just took the goals that I wrote from here and I narrowed it down into different sections. So I've set up a section for health and fitness, career and business, finance and net worth, personal development, family and friends, romance and relationships, fun, recreational and hobbies, and spiritual. Of course, you can change this as you like, but I kind of found that just following a template does kind of help me, and I just go with the instructions instead of me having to overthink and change things and dig too deep into everything. I will say that I have done this separately on like scrap papers and stuff, and it did help to highlight things. So I would do maybe like, if I think of something fun, hobbies, recreational, I would highlight in green everything here. So I do like to have them on the same page to look at, not the same page, but the same I don't know how it's called, 2 pages next to each other in the notebook. And then I just pick one goal from each section to make sure I do balance and I don't go full on all my goals are related to investing, or all my goals are related to health and fitness, and that's it. And keeping it strictly to 8 categories into the New Year's helps me keep down my personal goals, because in the past I used to do like a 20 goals or something, and that would just overwhelm me and I would end up not doing really much. But this really helps me keep it condensed. So again, if you want to take 10 minutes or however much you think you need or you have time to do just now, or if you want to just take the notes and do it at another time. And finally, when we are done with that, I do like to do a spread for a 3-month basis. So I pick from the goals we set up earlier, the 3 top ones that I want to focus for the next 3 months, because I do find that having 8 goals or 8 different categories can be quite overwhelming. Some of them are like long-term, like health and happiness. That's something that I want to do for the foreseeable. That's going to be something that's going to always be here, but I can juggle about with the other 2 goals. And I do find that looking back at my top 3 goals for the 3 months period, it is more helpful than looking at an entire 8 full year goals, and that can get a bit overwhelming and not really help me focus and narrow down my interests. And for this area, I do like to spread it into having a little bit of a bigger section for the goal, just in case you want to expand on it. I want to say always my why do I want to do something, because I want to stay aligned to my values and have an understanding and not just do things mindlessly. And I do a little section on how, because I find like this how section really makes me think of how can you break this down, because saying I want to be YouTube monetized, I want to get the financial DIPFA qualification, that is quite a lot and that's quite overwhelming. But when I see something like focus only on unit 1 and do only 3 chapters by New Year's, which is probably a bit much, but even if I do 1 chapter by New Year, is better than nothing. So it kind of makes me narrow down and not think, oh, I have to get this achievement in the next 3 months. No, I just have to do 3 chapters by New Year's, and I have to focus on the first unit of the qualification. So if you want to pause here and think about your next 3 months goals and spread down onto your why and how, and in the other section, maybe you want a note section, maybe you want to add something on the sides here and continue it and have an entire spread for just your 3 months goals, that's also fine. Maybe you want a bigger how section, or add a rewards, or I don't know, any other things that you might want to add. You can further this down and make it a bigger chunk. So that was it for my New Year's goal setup. Let me know how this went. It's the first time that I've done an interactive, well, tried to do an interactive session, so hopefully this was helpful. Wishing you the best of luck with your goals and keeping my fingers crossed that they all come true. Merry Christmas once again and a Happy New Year. See you in the next video. Goodbye.